Most people don't truly know what it takes to install a brand new lawn, especially heading into the summer. They think you just throw down some seed, maybe push spread some seed like that, and that's all it takes. But I'm here to tell you today that is not all it takes. It takes a lot of prep, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of effort. Let's dive in and see what it takes to seed this lawn today. What's up, guys? It's Jordan. We're back here on the lawn today. We're installing this lawn. We're gonna take you behind the scenes to see what it actually takes to install a new lawn here in the beginning of summertime, the toughest time to plant a new lawn. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let's start with the foundation, which is the soil. You wanna make sure it's prepped, a nice clean finished grade like this here. We don't want any huge holes or lumps or anything like that. That's gonna cause our seed to just be there in an irregular pattern. We also want to finish graded right, so we have just a nice easy slope here. You may notice that we do have some slopes over there. That's why part of it is we have some erosion matting as well to help with that stuff. We also want to make sure it's clean, free of any weeds and grass. So obviously this right here, all nice fresh dirt. The grass and weeds aren't going to get in our way, and it's ready to go. This is going to help improve drainage, decrease low spots, and create a very smooth surface for the lawn to establish on. Okay, once we have the lawn graded here, it's going to be all about preparing the seed bed, right? So one thing you really want for new lawns is you want to establish that seed to soil contact. And so when we're planting this, we're going to be lifting up the soil, dropping the seed down, and we're going to be dropping the soil back on top of it. You need that for germination at the end of the day. And with our power seeder machine, it's going to give us 90 to 95% germination rates on this lawn. So now we're installing the lawn. Here comes the exciting part. Here comes the exciting part. Put the shade in here. We're going to start with the shady areas of this lawn. Now you may be getting seeding like the process we are doing here. You may be getting hydro seeding, so they're spraying that liquid on top, or you may be getting new sod, which is they're laying pre-existing grass cut out on top of that soil. The goal is the same with all three of those things. You want to create that even coverage across the entire property. Proper application is essential to new grass establishment, sod, or hydro seeding, because again, it's going to help prevent those thin areas and especially that weed pressure later on down the line. Here is what it all boils down to at the end of the day. If you have the best process, the best sod, the best hydro seed, it's not going to matter if your water is not in line. You want to make sure you have a good irrigation plan, either installed underground watering or running the hoses with timers. Either way though, that's going to set you up for success. Too little water, that seed's going to dry out, it's not going to grow. Too much water, that seed's going to run off, create these drainage channels and still not grow. So again, you want that water perfect. You want to keep that lawn moist, the top ½ inch moist for the first 2 to 3 weeks of time for that grass to establish properly. Following the correct watering schedule makes all the difference. So what happens next? Once we get the seed installed, it's going to be a waiting game. Patience is going to be very important here. You're going to see some establishment maybe in that first week to 2 weeks time frame, but more of it is going to be coming in that 3 to 4 week time frame. Now, in these first 3 weeks are important. Again, we want to keep it moist, but more so, you want to talk about proper long-term care, proper nutrition, follow-up starter applications. That's going to ensure your seeding is successful and your lawn comes in nice and thick. As grass seed develops roots, it becomes stronger, thicker, and even more resilient. Another important tip to talk about here is, as you can see, this lawn has a little bit of mix of sun and shade. Again, seeding or the type of seed you pick is very important. You want to be using Blue Tag certified or the nicest, highest blends you can find. You don't want any noxious weeds in there. You don't want any bad grass seeds again. So read those seed labels. Here in Michigan, we're using a blue Kentucky bluegrass and a perennial ryegrass 50-50 mixed with multiple different blends of those to establish that great color, thickness, and quality of that grass seed. All right, guys, this is the first part in this series of this lawn installation. We're gonna probably check back in a couple weeks. Until then, thank you so much for watching the video. Let us know if you have any questions on lawn installations in the spring. Until next time, thanks for watching. See you later.